The mall is a staple of growing up in America. Teenagers spend a great deal of time hanging out with their friends in such places, quite simply because they're indoors and they're free. In Silent Hill 3, a game all about growing up, the story starts in a mall, in Central Square Shopping Center. It's the first time in the series that we see the horrors of Silent Hill appearing in a place outside of town, and it's where we meet our protagonist, Heather Mason, a teenage girl on the cusp of adulthood. The mall as a level introduces us to many of the staples and themes that will dominate Silent Hill 3. The shopping center has many stores that are explorable or seen in cutscenes. There's the Happy Burger, where Heather starts her story. There's a bookstore, a bakery, a boutique, a dozen other places, all seen or explored in-game. They're general mall locations, and few of them have hidden depths beyond, well, it's bread. The first section of the mall involves meeting Douglas and trying to escape him, with Heather finding herself trapped in a hellish nightmare she doesn't understand. She's forced to explore all areas of the mall, which gives us access to backroom corridors and employee areas most wouldn't see. From what we learn, the place is normal. Later locations, including the subway and sewers, and most levels onward, will show us notes and clues that lead us to believe terrible things happened here. People were killed in the sewers, a man committed suicide in the subway, and these events left behind scars, and the locations show it. The mall doesn't. It doesn't have any eerie memos or creepy hints at past tragedies. It seems to be a truly normal place until the Otherworld takes over. Then we see gurneys and bodies and halls that turn into abysses, things that are completely out of place and never would have been there. The mall's Otherworld and its place in the game at all are entirely accidental. This isn't a cursed place. Claudia is the one who forced the Otherworld onto this location, and it shows. What we see and experience in gameplay here has little to do with the actual location. There's no reason for dead bodies to be in this mall. It's a normal place, twisted and made dark, which makes it the perfect place to start Heather's story. She is currently living a normal life until Claudia drags her from it into the nightmare. It's also why we have scenes like this, where Heather enters a normal elevator only to walk out into what turns out to be another elevator, twisted and dark. Why two elevators? Because, perhaps more so than most times in this series, there really are two worlds here. The mall is normal, with a normal elevator, but Heather is leaving that normal world behind, stepping into the nightmare, the Otherworld. This is also hinted at by signage in-game. You can find signs and posters that have the words Tir Nile on them. Mess with the word a little and you get Tir Nile, one of the many names given to the Celtic version of the Otherworld. The posters read The Revolt of Tir Nile, which is specifically a reference to an artist named Hiro Yusada. Miss Yusada worked on the Silent Hill series, and she also has a collection of artwork called The Revolt of Tir Nile. Many of the puzzles in this level refer to things that would be part of everyday life for a teenager. At 17, Heather would be in high school, studying things like Shakespeare and chemistry. We see how this knowledge serves her in the Bookstore Puzzle, which requires basic knowledge of the bard's works, and the poison she creates to destroy the moths in the hallway. If you have Heather examine the Shakespeare anthologies, you'll find she says something interesting about the Macbeth book. She'll quote a favorite line, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more." When I took a semester on Shakespeare back in college, my professor pointed out this line to us, too. Here's the full quote. It is said after Lady Macbeth kills herself by the lead Macbeth himself. It has a double meaning. On the one hand, he is lamenting the loss of his wife, the futility of living, and how meaningless it all seems. But it is also a subtle breaking of the fourth wall, the reference to player, another word for actor, and upon the stage all hint at this second layer. It is a quote that discusses how life is like being on a stage, alive for a short while, only to die when you walk into the curtains. What happens to a character from a play when they walk off stage? They die. They cease to exist. They are truly heard no more, as they only live so long as the actor is playing them. The double metaphor is this: characters only exist for so long on a stage, and we only exist for so long in this life. Heather says this because she too is a poor player on a stage. When you turn off your PlayStation, she ceases to exist. Her quoting this line adds a third delicious layer to the metaphor. A character only exists on a stage, a person only exists so long as they're alive, and video game protagonists are only real so long as we are playing them. The hall with the moths is an interesting barrier. As a symbol, moths are similar to butterflies in that they are often used to represent the human soul. But moths are given darker connotations. They are nocturnal, they can be destructive, even self-destructive, and have long been associated with insanity and death. To move forward, Heather must poison and kill these symbols of death. Essentially, she must overcome death to survive. The final barrier in this level is a door on the third level, carved with a crescent moon and an oval, which Heather describes as being blood red. On the door are the words, "Piling up the 300th day and ninth, from beyond the door cries of pain are heard, and the final destination has become real, though not a blessed beginning." The 300 days is approximately the length of an average pregnancy. The cries of pain at the end obviously referring to childbirth. What's interesting is that the poem says that it did not have a blessed beginning, that in some way this pregnancy was unwanted or forced on them. It matches Heather's story. Her pregnancy with God is not something she wants. What waits behind the door is even more telling. The split worm creature, the boss Heather has to face, is a very phallic, grotesque monster. The moon on the door is also associated with the menstrual cycle. In fact, the origin of the word comes from the Greek mene, meaning moon. It used to be that the cycles were in tune, with menstruation coming at the time of the new moon and ovulation at the full moon. The crescent moon specifically is a symbol often associated with femininity and the female goddess, and virginity. But the crescent moon in this context might mean that menstruation is soon coming, and the blood red color seems to hint at that. Yet we know our character, and the person referenced in the poem, are already or perhaps soon to be pregnant. The moonstone, which has to be found and placed in the door to proceed, is a symbol that has long been associated with sexuality and fertility. Altogether, this setting seems to represent Heather stepping through a door that represents fertility, female goddesses, and pregnancy, to face a grotesque creature that's shaped like a monstrous penis. It feels like a metaphor for sexual violation, leading to an unwanted pregnancy, a situation that represents Heather's story in Silent Hill 3. But there's something else about this door. Above the door is the halo of the sun marked into the wall. Notice what color it is. It's blue, not the usual red. There's a note later in the game that discusses the meaning of the symbol in various colors. Occasionally drawn in black or other colors, but blue reverses the meaning into a curse on God and is therefore forbidden. What could this mean? The symbol itself first appears in this game. It will appear again in Origins, in which it will be shown to be the symbol that Dahlia used to impregnate Alessa with God. It is somehow associated with the god's power and possibly with the impregnation. Why would the symbol be here, and why in blue? Claudia certainly wouldn't be behind it. If the cult sees the blue symbol as forbidden, she'd never dare. So why is it here? If the blue color reverses the symbol, maybe it is meant to signify a reversal. It's above the poem about pregnancy. Perhaps it was put here as an attempt to reverse what had been done to Heather, possibly by someone who wanted to stop it. Interpretations can vary, but I think the placement of the blue halo here creates a lot of possibilities.